Whenever conversation turns to Australia's fastest street rotaries, Maztech of Melbourne's RX3 is among the first mentioned.
Fastest pro street rotary in the world.
Maztech owner Anthony Rodriguez was even asked to demonstrate it for the crowd at the Melbourne Formula One Grand Prix. But to fully appreciate this car's ability, we visited the 32nd Australian Drag Racing Championships at Melbourne's Calder Park Raceway. It was here on December 13, 1997 that the RX3 ran its best quarter-mile time of 9.12 seconds at 148 miles per hour. That's with an all-steel body, no weight-saving fiberglass panels here. Anthony has a reputation for not letting many people peek under the bonnet of his car.
Oh no, Nick off, get away, go on, Nick off.
But we managed to sneak a look on condition we didn't show the right-hand side of the engine bay. What we saw was a 13B running 2 Garrett T04 turbos at 20 psi through a 4-speed Jericho gearbox. Current horsepower 603, without nitrous.
It actually makes more horsepower than any other 13B rotary in the world. It's something we're fairly proud of.
Everything's managed by a Microtech MT12 computer with direct fire coil pack ignition and methanol fueling. As a Microtech distributor, Maztech develops many systems on this car which make their way onto customers' cars. Other than the turbos themselves, every induction component was custom fabricated by Maztech, and they're the bits we can't show, but take it from us, they're very impressive. In fact, the Maztech workshop was crammed full of impressive rotaries, particularly this 20B 323 project car, which was unveiled just for us. It'll be raced in the near future and will eventually rival the RX3. But back at Calder Park, it's time to race. An earlier run had resulted in a disappointing 9.7 seconds. The wastegate had blown off when this $10 clamp came loose. The second run improved to 9.55 at 138, but surprisingly, the same clamp blew the wastegate off again. The third run, this time with a brand new clamp, was 9.55 again. The clamp stayed on, but Anthony made a mistake on launch which cost him a few tenths.
The mile an hour's up a little bit, but still 6 or 7 away from where we should be.
The next run was the first qualifier, so it's a dial-in time. That means instead of going as fast as possible, you must nominate a time and not go any faster, thereby rewarding consistency. Now feeling a bit dejected by the earlier problems, Anthony dialed in a cautious 9.50. Unfortunately, this was the run where the car decided to get up and fly. By the time Anthony realised and slowed, it was too late. He ran a 9.46, too quick for the dial-in. That's called a breakout and means Maztech's out of the event. Also at Calder Park that weekend, we found Grant Williams. A plumber by trade, Grant owns and races the ex-Cannon & Strong Series 4 RX7. Although there's some rivalry between Grant and Anthony, they actually race in different categories. Grant in Super Stock and Anthony in Super Sedan. Super Sedan's more flexible but carries only $600 prize money. Grant in Super Stock could pick up $2,200 for a win here today. He's also the only rotary amongst an epidemic of V8s. His car's a tribute to low tech. Even he refers to the setup as prehistoric, but it all works surprisingly well. The 13B Extend port runs a single Garrett turbo at 30 psi with no intercooler via a single Weber carby. Sounds basic, but it produces 520 horsepower without nitrous to run a best time of 9.13. He once ran it with nitrous and hit 8.7 seconds to become Australia's fastest rotary. But keep in mind the RX7 is nearly 500 pounds lighter than the Maztech RX3. Grant also had mixed results at this event. He began with a turbo problem and ran a 9.7, then followed with a respectable 9.29. But his third run was a sensation. 9.14, only 1/100th of a second off his previous best. He was now running 4th in the class.
Yeah, that was good. Very happy with that actually. With the heat, that was great.
However, he struck trouble in the final when the car refused to start. He too was out of the event. But all was not lost. Grant got to look under the bonnet of Anthony's RX3, something he'd never been allowed to do before.